Let's bring in, if we can, New York City Council Minority Leader Joe Borelli. Good morning to you, Joe.
Good morning.
To pick up on what Hillary was saying, are you seeing the same type of thing in New York? Businesses shutting their doors simply because of the rising crime?
Yeah, and it's exponential. I mean, if you look around where we are in Midtown, you could see there's less people in the stores, less people on the subways, less people pretty much everywhere you could imagine. And that's having a trickle-down effect on the mom-and-pop salad places, the coffee shops, the restaurants that make up the bulk of New York City small businesses. Until we clamp down on crime, until we get it under control, and until our woke prosecutors start actually putting people in jail, I think you're going to see the net result continue in this direction where businesses are closing.
New York is creating what's called gun-free zones like Times Square after the Supreme Court struck down the state's law that limits people from carrying concealed handguns. I mean, does this do anything? I mean, one thing is it obviously, hurts people's constitutional rights. That's one issue. But does this do anything anyway?
No, it's completely ridiculous. Look, if gangsters followed signs in Times Square, they'd all be showing up shirtless in Calvin Klein jeans buying Lion King tickets. This is a very unserious way to deal with a serious problem, which is gun violence. If New York wants to tackle gun violence, I mean, they should start going after the felons that they already have arrested rather than creating a new class of felon for people who might just otherwise be entitled to carry a permit. I mean, we have 4,000 people last year arrested for guns. The overwhelming majority of them are still in the streets awaiting trials or had their cases downgraded to misdemeanors. That's the real crime. That's what Mayor Adams should be focusing on.
All right, next one for you. New York is struggling to deal with the busloads of migrants that are coming in from Texas. The Department of Homeless Services says it had to abandon its intake plan. But you know what, Joe? Shouldn't the city have expected this when it declared itself proudly a sanctuary city? Yeah,
it's almost like, what did you expect to happen? I mean, frankly, we've gotten about 6,000 to 7,000 migrants coming in, and actually the overwhelming majority of those people came across to this state on the Joe Biden administration flights. Only about 2,000 came on Greg Abbott. This is more on the Biden administration than anything else. But it is a real problem in New York City. The taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. I don't like having to pay for it, but I do like the fact that finally it's causing Democrats to admit that there's a real cost to housing and clothing and taking care of people who come here illegally. Now they cannot deny it anymore. So if that's the price, that's the price.
Very good. Last one for you, Joe. Your governor, Democrat Kathy Hochul, wow, she says Republicans should get out of town, that they're not New Yorkers. Quite remarkable. What's your response to that?
Actually, I don't think any New Yorkers needed any more invitation to move to Florida. We know that over 300,000 people left this state and took about $21 billion of taxable income during the pandemic. So, Kathy could cheer us on for moving, but I don't think we really need her help whatsoever. The only thing that's going to change this state is when we actually elect a new governor, a better governor, Lee Zeldin, and maybe everyone could feel welcome and entitled to stay in the state.
Can you turn the tide, Joe? We scratch our heads at the policies. People leave the state, to your point, to move to another state that has a whole lot more freedom, and yet Democrats continue to be voted in. Is the tide turning in your opinion?
I think it is. If you talk to people where I live in Staten Island, whether it's Mrs. Borelli or anyone on the street, they're willing to give Lee Zeldin a chance to turn around the state. Otherwise, we might be part of the exodus from the state as well. So it's sad, but I think people are frustrated enough to finally vote red where they might have voted blue in the past.
Very good. Well, we shall see. Joe Borelli, terrific interview. Thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you.
Good deal. All right.